How you guys doing? Chase Costello here, Stetson University, Professional Communications. I'm going to talk to you guys and teach you guys on, why athletes should be getting paid. And I created a presentation to speak to you guys, just to kind of speak from a personal preference and from athletes across the world and the country that I have spoke to. The title of my presentation is "Sorry, That's Against NCAA Rules." And the reason why I chose that title was because it's a very condescending message. So, that could be NCAA has so many rules that it's really hard to keep up sometimes. But you basically know like the main stuff is you can't get money, can't get gifts, can't get anything because it's against the rules. Everything's against the rules. The only thing you're allowed to do is go to school, have them pay for it, or you pay for school, go to school, play baseball, do whatever sport you do, and that's it. You can't do anything else basically. And so for years, as athletes, we would ask, well, why can't we get paid? Like, what's the big issue? And we can't really get a clear answer because I feel like no one really has even thought about that whole, side of things. They just don't want to, that's another thing they have to put out there for us to learn and sign off. And one other thing they have to look out for. Excuse me. So why should college athletes get paid, right? So the NCAA just passed a new rule July 1st, which is called the NIL. It stands for name, image, and likeness. And so basically that everyone's freaking out. All the athletes are saying, oh, now I can get paid, now I can get, all this other stuff. And the meanwhile, in all the small print, if you actually read it, that is you're not allowed to get paid still. So the only thing you're allowed to do is get sponsored and get free gear. Like, we already get free gear and stuff from the university, so why can't we use our name? And I mean, there's certain stuff you can get paid for. I mean, there's obviously loopholes and stuff like that, but now I guess it's easier and there's like more of a reference that you can go off and be like, oh, the new NIL, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's going to be so new that a lot of kids are going to get themselves in trouble because they just think that they're allowed to get paid, through boosters or random people and this and that. When meanwhile, the only thing you're allowed to get paid for is like if you sign a ball for a kid, big, hey, I'll sign baseballs for $10, after the game if you'd like. So that's really the only thing you can do. And you can get free apparel from different companies. Like, I can get sponsored by Under Armour because they like the way, my social media is and the way it's set up and the way that I dress. So they want to use me to promote, their company. You're allowed to do that now when even you weren't allowed to do that back then. So this is a big argument because a multitude of players that I know, and I'm sure a lot more people across the country, have lost a year of playing time because they use their name, to gain money while they're in college because, their financial state is not where they want to be and they're struggling, they couldn't eat. So they would use their name and promote certain companies so they would get money to help them out, in the long run to be able to eat, stay healthy while they're in college. So this is why kind of a big argument right now. It's very new. There's a lot of moving parts. So to me, I'm not going to even touch anything because I feel like a lot of people are still going to get in trouble because they're actually just not reading exactly what it is. So my main points that I'm going to speak about is time, money, revenue, health, and future profession, which is basically everything in a nutshell in sports and college itself. So first of all, they call it a student athlete for a reason, not athlete student. So school always comes first. You have to do the schoolwork. That's not a question in this statement. What we're looking at here is time. Time is a very, very big thing in sports, especially in college. We are always on the run. We're always moving. We very rarely have downtime. So, for example, as a day that I've been through as a college athlete, we wake up at 5 a.m. for 6 a.m. lift. You do 6 a.m. lift for an hour, and then if you're able to with your class schedule, you can get breakfast. If not, you have to go straight to class, do your classes, get some lunch, go to baseball for practice, do whatever you need to do, leave, go get dinner, and then go straight to study hall for 3.5 hours, which you need to get a certain hours done during a week. So sometimes you don't end from 5 to 9 p.m., even 10 p.m., and you're not even done with schoolwork yet, so you need to go even a little longer to maybe even midnight, 1 a.m., just to get homework done to be set up for the next day, and then restart it again at 5 a.m. the next morning. So you basically have no time to get, have some free time to relax, actually, get your 8 hours of sleep. So time is a very big thing in my perspective, being in college. And then we're going to talk about revenue. One of the biggest arguments as a college athlete myself and kids around the world is that, I went to LSU for 2 years, so I know the numbers on that school. So basically, baseball at LSU at Louisiana State University was the third most popular sport in the college itself. It first went football, gymnastics, then baseball, and then basketball. And for baseball, we averaged $1.7 million every year. We would make in gross revenue after paying for all the light bills and paying the grounds crew and everything. We would make around $1.7 million. And you would say, like, well, if you're gonna sell $100,000 worth of jerseys with my name on the back, with my name, why are you making all the money and I can't get a small percentage of that? So that's kind of the argument of the revenue side. And you can argue and say, well, you guys get so much gear, you guys play in these big stadiums, you guys have a beautiful field, you guys get all the gear. So that's an argument for that. And yeah, I understand that, but if you're gonna make money off of my name on my jersey, why can't I make some of the money? It just it doesn't seem fair. It doesn't make any sense. So that's another big argument that still is, I don't even think, allowed. Maybe, I'm not really sure. It's still very new. I'm sure we'll have classes about it and talk about it, but still very new, and that's another argument from us as athletes to go around. Just doesn't make any sense. And then we have health. This health really, hits me in the heart, because I have been a part of, deteriorating from school and sports itself. I have, they talk about time management, and time management is huge, because if you can do time management correctly, you should be able to get your 8 hours of sleep and eat and all this other stuff. But in reality is that you really don't have time, because you're busy from 5 a.m. to midnight every day. And it's really hard to get that 8 hours of sleep while you're even doing that. So the thing is that I feel like if we're able to get paid, just a little bit, we can go to the grocery store and pick up food and, cook a healthier meal instead of going to McDonald's or Wendy's every single night because it's late and that's the only thing open. Or that's only how much time do you have in between classes or in between sports or whatever, whatever you have. That's the only time, small time slot that you can go and go get something to eat instead of just starving throughout the night, because obviously not eating is not very good. So I just feel like being able to get paid just a little bit on certain things will also help out with that. And obviously money, because this is what we're talking about. A lot of people do not go into college financially stable. They take out loans and then they're paying off debt the rest of their life. So if we're allowed to get paid just a little bit, I feel like it would be easier to pay for college, help families out. Parents, they do a lot for us. God bless their souls, doing whatever they need to do to be able to get us. We are actually very, we benefit from this because our parents are able to, send us to college. So why not try to help them out? And we can't get a job because we are so busy. So people always ask, why can't you get a job? I'm like, well, people think baseball is, or just, I'm just going to use baseball from my perspective because that's what I play. They're like, why can't you get a job? Baseball's only in the spring. But little do they know is that we have practice in the fall and weightlifting to get ready in the spring that we go through the winter for, and then we go into the spring to play. They say, oh, then you have the summer. Why don't you just go work in the summer and make your money so that you can live off of that when you go to college? I'm like, well, the thing is, you have to go to summer baseball and play throughout the whole summer, so scouts and other people can look at you, so you can use that for your future profession if that's what you want to do, which that's what I want to do. So a lot of people who want to go to school, like college for sports, they want to take that as long as possible. So, excuse me, they have to go to summer baseball just to be able to get looked at and, keep playing year round, because you can't really stop in the game of baseball. Otherwise, your body tears down and all this other stuff. So basically, that's why it would help us as college athletes just to stay healthier, easier on us. We can have some extra money in our pocket to go eat, or maybe go put gas in the tank instead of walking everywhere. Use it for whatever you want, but it would be very beneficial for college athletes. And then future profession. I'm just going to dive into this because, I was supposed to get drafted this year and I didn't. And I've put so much time, blood, sweat, and tears into the sport. I don't really have a, social life because I'm so busy trying to get to the next level. And I feel like another big thing about this NIL and why athletes should get paid and why they should pass it, which they did, is that, if you're decent in high school and like people come see you, that, you have to play good enough for them to see you. And then if they see you and you're decently, you're playing very well at a young age in high school, these guys will offer, 18-year-olds, $100,000, depending on, your financial state. You're not, if you're at a smaller financials, if you're not wealthy, then you wouldn't take the money. You would rather go to college, get your degree, and then hope for the best, right? But if these guys that are, struggling financially as a family, and then you get $100,000, everyone's like, heck yeah, go take it. You help us out, help you get your career going. You're young, why not? It's the best of both worlds. But then most of the time, those kids get old and they go through the system, and only 2%, of players after high school and college make it, professionally in a different sport. So being at a high school taking that small number of money is that, that won't last very long if you don't know how to, invest and save your money. Because $100,000, in this today's economy doesn't, it won't get you, it'll get you decently far, but it won't cover you for the rest of your life. So, the NIL, I feel like, is more beneficial because now kids in high school are going to be like, wow, we can get paid, we can, get sponsored. Why don't we go to college? And then they're going to be, that much closer to be getting their degree. So just in case if they're like, you know what, I'm just going to get my degree and then hope for the best, instead of taking 4 or 5 years of college when, they're 35 or 40 years old, they're not going to take that $100,000 when they're in high school, and they'll go to college and you have to play for 3 years just to be able to get looked at again. So you're just going to be a year or two closer to your degree instead of, being 5-6 years closer. So I feel like that's going to be a huge benefit, for kids as like a recruiting tool. Like, hey man, you should really go to college, because, you're able to get, promoted and all this other stuff, and you're going to be closer to your degree. So it's like the best of both worlds. So I think this is going to be very beneficial and very relevant for, today's society. And just to conclude everything, I just think it'd be more beneficial for athletes to be getting paid because, health, time, can't have jobs, so we can't really get paid. So being able to get paid or promote or get something while you're playing, a sport in college would be very beneficial because you can eat better. Hopefully you can live better. Best thing is health. If you're not healthy, then it's very tough to live and, play sports. So being able to get paid just a little bit will help with money. Obviously money, food, which is health, sleep, time management, and just all these questions, and even losing years of being able to be played. And I feel like it'll just be more beneficial for kids to be able to get closer to a degree and get a job in the future, because only 2% of people make it to the MLB for baseball. So I know baseball is very popular, in some areas. So all I know is that I just feel like it'll be a lot easier. A lot more people will want to go to college instead of not going to college, which is great, because we need more education in the world. We need smarter people. We need, it's really hard to go get a job when you don't have that, piece of paper in your back pocket. So I think it's also like a great thing for, just be able to go get your degree. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Chase Costello, Stetson University, Professional Communications with Meg Young. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.